So today you guys are going to be looking at an excerpt from The Rose That Grew from Concrete. You've got a little mini bio on our author right here. It's by Tupac, who was an American rapper because, believe it or not, rap is poetry. So Tupac was an American rapper and one of the most successful rappers to date. His early life was spent on the East Coast, where he attended an elite Baltimore School of the Arts, where he stood out academically and creatively. Sorry, struggling with that one a little bit. Prior to graduation, he and his mother moved to California. It's there that he became involved in gang life in the streets of California. It's this mix of culture and influence that we see in most of his lyrics and music. So while Tupac was in a gang, he also was witnesses to injustices, and specifically to that of African Americans. He became a voice for the black community and put real-world issues into his lyrics, touching on topics of incarceration, violence, illegal drugs, police brutality, racism. Starting at the age of 19, he also wrote many poems, including The Rose That Grew from Concrete. 72 of his poems are compiled into a book. So in September of 1996 in Las Vegas, he was gunned down in a drive-by shooting. 6 days following the attack, he died of his wounds at the age of 25. So what you guys are going to do with this little excerpt from his poem, The Rose That Grew from Concrete, is you need to pull back up that annotating poetry sheet that you guys watched a mini lesson on last week. And you need to follow these steps to annotate this poem. As you can see, it's a very short excerpt that I have given you, and you need to annotate and answer. So on your second reading of this poem, you need to go through and highlight any key terms in red, highlight any unknown new words in green, and then as you come down here, you're going to identify rhyme scheme of the poem. What's surprising about the rose? How did the rose grow from concrete? What types of figurative language are used? Don't just say simile, give me an example of the figurative language. So what is a metaphor that is within the poem? How does it apply, to Tupac's life? We read that little mini bio of him. How can this poem potentially apply to your life? When you're finished, you should submit this over to your Schoology assignment.